four corners of the earth, we are preach God's word in various places. And from in the darkest night right to the daylight, we give praises. So we give praises. Now on everyday topics, well, you know we come for shine some light using godly principles. Yes, that's right. On the straight and the narrow path, that's where we go. Welcome to the DayeLight Show.
Welcome to the DayeLight Show with yours truly, Crystal Day. And I am super excited for another amazing episode that we have lined up for you this week. Now, we haven't spoken a lot about business. We touch a little bit money, but today we're talking about business, specifically online business, because the truth is, as believers, there are so many opportunities for us to make money online. You know, we can create jobs globally, etc. But sometimes as a believer, with all the noise out there, you wonder, where is your space? Or is it possible for you to do this without compromising your faith? Now, I have in studios with me all the way from Atlanta, one of my favorite persons. I kind of semi-stalk her, but it's okay, because, it's always a blessing to be able to follow persons that are influencers that, love Jesus, have fun, but it's also walking into their purpose. So with me today, I have Miss Maya Elious. Welcome to the DayeLight Show, Maya.
Thank you for having me, Crystal.
Listen, welcome to Jamaica, of course. And, we're looking forward to this conversation. So, Maya came here for the Reach Millions Auto Life 2024. And, of course, we had to get her here on the show so that we can have this conversation about online brand, online business, and, of course, how you should not compromise your faith to build a business. So I'll start, Maya, by you telling the audience a little bit about you, how you got started. Yeah, just introduce yourself to us.
Yeah. So my name is Maya Elious. I am the CEO of Built to Impact, which is a coaching and consulting company that primarily works with women of faith, teaching them how to master their message and package their skills into a high-end business.
Okay. So tell us, how did you get started?
I got started in business in 2008, so 15 years ago now, and I started actually in the branding space. I was creating MySpace pages in college.
Listen, I remember MySpace. Most of you, do you?
Yeah. So the MySpace days, and then I eventually grew my brand, started learning how to create graphics and creating websites for people, and then I eventually transitioned into teaching people how to get more visitors to their website and get people excited about their products and services. So
I love it. So one of the things, I love about you and your brand, like you said, you are unapologetic Jesus girl. Of course, all of us have had our moments, but at the end of the day, what I love is that you are, you're a woman of faith and you want to help other women of faith. But have you ever felt like, I shouldn't really put that faith aspect out there because it might not be, very accepted by the church, etc. I love to hear your thoughts about, faith and business and the continuous conversations that we have about, this topic.
Yeah. I mean, my faith is something that has come naturally to me, growing up in a Christian household. And when I was running my business and, blogging and teaching people about branding, I incorporated my faith because it was just something that came naturally to me. It wasn't like, oh, I need to teach people about Jesus. I just shared my own experience with going to church or my beliefs or what I felt like God was speaking to me during that time. And I recognized that a lot of people were open to it and they really resonated with, a lot of what I was saying. And I didn't realize that it was something that was bold. People would say, oh, I love how you boldly talk about your faith. And I'm like, but why would I not talk about it? Like, I didn't know, loving God is not a secret, know? So I think that it's been something that's not only been accepted, but really appreciated and encouraging other people to talk about their faith.
You are from the U.S. and, there is the continuous controversial, of faith in the U.S., can you talk about Jesus, etc. How do you manage that aspect of it? Because some persons will feel like, and the idea is that, most people in the US, they compromise on their faith, mainly because of, the pushback regarding that.
Yeah. It's so interesting. I just had this conversation yesterday about, openly talking about your faith, especially, as an American. I was talking to somebody who, was born in Nigeria. And I think I didn't recognize that it was a big deal. And I think because I grew up in Christian communities that it just felt normal. And so if anybody is offended about me talk about Jesus, that's their problem. It's not something I can't do anything with that. It's like, if my main goal is to please God, I can't really be concerned about offending other people.
No, we have to get deeper, Maya, because you have a level of confidence and courage that I don't think the average person have. So I think the listeners would want to know, and the viewers, how did you become so confident just in yourself as a person, not just with your faith, but just overall the confidence and courage to do things?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I would say maybe my upbringing and environment overall. I think being around other people who are confident, being around other people who are excited to use their voice. And I would say confidence comes from understanding who you are. So you're not comparing yourself to everybody else and deciding, who is the person that I want to be? Who is the person that I'm called to be? What are my values? I think it's really important that we establish our core personal values. As a believer, we should all have the same characteristics, and we should all, have the fruit of the Spirit and be patient and kind and gracious and loving and all of those things. But you need to decide for you personally, how do I want to show up in the world? And when you can make that decision for yourself and you set that standard for your everyday, then you can become confident because you're deciding who you want to be and you're not comparing it to everybody else.
I love that. Like, listen, I feel like that was a masterclass, how to become more courageous with your faith. Masterclass. What I want to get into is branding. So when I started in the space, that was 2017 thereabout, and I started to talk about building a brand. Listen, I guess because I'm in the islands, there was so much pushback. Oh, branding is not of God. You should, you're trying to build your own name and you should build Jesus. Like, I was constantly attacked for the idea word of branding. I had to spend a lot of time with the Lord, like, what is this? And he's like, but your brand is you. It really is you. Whether you want to admit it or not, all of us have a brand. It's not how we store that brand.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear, thoughts for persons, like you said, want to use their voice, they want to build a business, they want to, be out there speaking, coaching, all of these things as believers, but afraid of the idea that I may not be giving God glory because, especially if you're not boldly preaching, the scriptures on the stage.
Yeah, that's such a great question, because I think as my brand started to grow more and people started to recognize me more, it made me nervous. And I recognized that I started to shrink and that I started to hide behind my faith. And so if anybody would compliment me, I'd be like, no, it's not me, it's God. And you have this, what I call just a false humility, right? Because it's okay to accept praise and then you could still give the glory to God. And what's important to understand is that as ambassadors of Christ, we are representing him. And so part of building your brand is, what can I create here on earth that honors the kingdom versus thinking that everything has to be scripture, everything has to be this. God has given us very unique gifts that we can use to help serve other people, that we can use to make money and use that money to serve other people, to help our families, to make sure we are not in debt, right? And so I think that building a brand and doing it in a way that is authentic and done with integrity is a way to honor God, right? We can honor God with our work, and building a brand is part of that.
I love it. You touch on, just overall, let's go back to the branding. What in your words, because you are the branding queen herself, the messaging queen, what in your, somebody's listening, they're like, I hear about you, but I don't know, I don't understand that branding idea. Maybe you can give them, 3 tips or something about, just understanding what your brand is and what you could build a brand around.
Yeah, I love that. Overall, building your brand is simply about who you are authentically and how you add value to the world. And when it comes to building your business brand, it's specifically how do you add value to your unique market. So for me, working with women of faith, my brand is around teaching them how to communicate their values. So I'm known for messaging. I'm known for helping people create impact, helping people make money. So when I think about my brand, I think about the common words that I want to be associated with. I'm associated with helping women of faith. I'm associated with helping people create impact, understanding their messaging, launching. There are very specific buzzwords that if you hear it, you think Maya Elious, or you think Built to Impact, my company name. When you think of reach millions, when you think of building an author brand, when you think of launching a book, you think of DayeLight Publishing, you think of Crystal Daye. your brand is what you are known for. It's essentially your reputation.
Wow. So the question for many of you is, what is it that you want to build? This business brand you're watching and you're like, can I pursue something like this? What Maya is saying is, yes, you can, but it will require you, one, knowing who you are in Christ, spending some time understanding that, because there's so many opinions out there, but you have to know who you are in Christ and building that relationship. And the final thing I heard her say is, it's about the people. Like, who am I called to serve with this gift? Because sometimes we get caught up in, oh, but I'm not perfect yet, I'm not there yet. But who am I called to serve with this gift? So as we're about to take our first break, listen, I remind you guys that my new book, Live Your Blessed Life Now, is coming out this August. Yes. So this August, the new book is coming out. So I want you to pay attention, because pre-orders will be open very, very soon for my new book, as we talk about, how to live a blessed life now, no matter what your circumstances look like. So we go for our first break, and please stay where you are, right? As we will show who our partners with this week. God bless you.
Are you feeling stuck and stagnant? Are you wondering how to advance your career? Do you want to explore something new, but unsure of how to take that next step?
Introducing the solution that you have been waiting for. This award-winning guide is your roadmap to move forward.
Learn the steps to achieve your goal of changing specializations, entering a new field, getting a promotion, or even starting a side hustle. Get ready to break free from your stagnant state and thrive in your career. Take charge of your professional future.
Order your book now. Changing Career Direction: 7 Steps to Transition to a New Career Path. Available on Amazon, Indigo, Barnes Noble, or Etsy.
The principles, yes, that's right. On the straight and the narrow path, that's where we go. Welcome to the DayeLight Show. Welcome to the DayeLight Show.
Welcome back to the DayeLight Show, and we're having an amazing conversation with a beautiful woman of God, Maya Elious, on how to build an online brand business without compromising your faith. So, as we are about to go into our second segment, Maya, we have our Speak Jesus box.
Okay.
So you will pick something, you read it to the audience, and based on what you read, you give them a 30-second encouragement based on whatever you feel the Lord is say you should share.
Oh, okay. Alrighty. The how to do it always comes to the person who says, I can do it. Ooh, I really like that. I like this. It comes to the person who says, I can do it. I really like this because I really believe in declaring things out of our mouth.
Yes.
And, I don't know how your audience feels about the term manifestation. Sometimes we say, oh, it's not Christ-like or whatever it is. But when we declare things out of our mouth, it comes to fruition. It becomes our reality because what we say out of our mouth is based on what we believe. And so if you believe that God called you to be a better partner, you believe that God called you to be better in your career, you believe that God called you to break generational curses, you have to say it out loud. You have to declare these things out loud with your affirmations, with your prayers and your declarations. So the how to do it comes to the person who declares, I can do it.
I love it. And which is amazing because it going to discipline. Maya, one of the things I recognize with, just being the influencer, we don't necessarily say we're influencers, but we do influence others with this and impact. You find that you have to have a personal discipline to, do the hard things. And one of the things as a fitness enthusiast, you listen, hashtag Maya goals when you want to go into the gym. How do you maintain a that lifestyle, like, of being disciplined, not just in exercise, but, even in your business, and being focused even when it feels like the marketplace is becoming noisy. So discipline, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, discipline, I've got to shout out my dad for the discipline. I'm a first generation American to a Liberian father. Both my parents are Liberian. But, African dads just love them some discipline. And so, I just grew up with that characteristic. And, growing up, I would think, oh, my dad's being strict. My dad is being strict. But when I got older, I recognized that what I deemed as strict was him instilling discipline in me.
Wow.
And he would always say to me, you have to learn how to postpone instant gratification. And, it's just so interesting. If you're a parent watching this and you're thinking, I'm trying to teach my kids lessons and they're not, listening to me. I didn't listen to my parents in high school, but he planted that seed, and I started to understand it when I started to do the work. And I would see people who would chase instant gratification. They want the pizza now, or they want whatever it is now. They want the quick relationship now, just to say that they have a boyfriend or whatever it is. And when you rush into things and when you operate from a level of desperation, it causes you to dismiss your discernment. And when you're not operating with your level of discipline, you're always chasing something very quickly, and you're not operating with your standards.
Yes.
And so discipline is all about having standards of what you want your life to look like, and not about what you're feeling and what you're desiring right now. And so when I think about, discipline, my discipline is based on the desire of what I want for future Maya. So when I think I want to be healthy and I want to be in the best shape of my life, it requires me to be disciplined today. When I say I want financial freedom and I want to make sure that, my kids are set financially, it requires me to be disciplined with my money today. Meaning that not only do I need to save, but I also need to invest. When I say that I want God to bring me a great husband and I want to be a great wife, it requires me to have the discipline of understanding, how do I want to show up as a wife, and do I know how to communicate with men? So you have to understand, based on your desire for your future self, what is the discipline that I need to have today?
That is so good. Like, that's probably the best definition of discipline I've ever heard. I swear. Because sometimes when you hear discipline, you're like, oh my God, like, I have to just give up all my freedom right now. But that, delayed is not giving up. You're delaying the gratification now for a greater future.
Yes,
like,
yes.
I will make it to the gym. I will get a personal trainer. I will come back here and say, yes. But, you mentioned something about your dad and the parenting. I know that you dropped out of college. And like you said, like Caribbean parents, African parents, we know that education and getting a degree is the way to go. And you, this young girl, is like, oh, but I don't want to go to college anymore. I want to go build a online business. What? How did that go? Tell us. And any advice for persons that feel like, that's their only way out, but they're feeling that calling for different.
Yeah, that was the scariest decision of my life, dropping out of college, because I really wanted to please my parents, right? Because, my parents are my parents. Those are the two people that you look up to, and you follow their guidance and their leadership. And, the word says, raise your child in the way that they should go. And what I recognize now, that as I'm older, my parents wanted the best for me. And that's why they pushed me to go to college, right? They came to this country. They understood what the American dream at that time looked like, and they wanted the absolute best for me. But my advice to parents, although I'm not one yet, but when I think about how I want to lead my children, and I feel fearful that they're not going in the direction that I believe, is to honestly to be prayerful, right? And I think what was happening is my parents wanted me to go in the direction that they thought was best, based on their upbringing and based on what they saw society says is successful. But I sometimes wonder, what would it have been like if they went to God in prayer and said, how should I guide my daughter to go? Is it okay if she drops out? Can I have better understanding of the direction she's trying to go, so I can better pray for her and better guide her? And so, dropping out of college was very scary, because they wanted the best for me. I didn't want to disappoint them. And I thought they were going to disown me. I was nervous. I didn't know what was going to happen.
My father probably would.
Yeah. So, but now, by the grace of God, I made that decision. But what's important to understand is just because I didn't want to continue in college and have formal education doesn't mean that I didn't prioritize education.
Ooh.
And so I would be on YouTube for 10, 12, 14 hours a day studying my craft. And so if you're making the decision to let go of one avenue, you have to be very diligent still in the thing that you want to achieve. So when you're seeing, influencers online, and you're like, they're so successful and they look like they're having fun. The ones that you see who are successful, they are studying their craft and they have the discipline and they're doing the hard things. It might not be the traditional route that you're used to seeing, but they are still doing the work.
You are so right. Because when I study publishing and the book industry, like I'm in college, I legit buy as many books, every course because like you said, it's the self-education and knowing how to develop your expert. That's so good. So good. Listen, you guys are getting, this week is a masterclass. We're not even have a talk show. Listen, it's a masterclass. But Maya, you talk about, we want to talk about the monetizing aspect, but your new podcast came out, Hard Work, Work Hard, Soft Life.
Work hard, live soft.
Live soft. And what is live soft? What does the living soft look like? Because in the Caribbean right now, we just know hard work and hard life.
Right. And that is why I created that title, because so many of us work hard and you have to ask yourself, to what end? Why am I working this hard?
Yes.
I need my hard work to give me a return on my investment of my time and of my energy and even the money that I put in. And that is all about deciding, what is the life that I want to live? And sometimes I think we don't ask that question honestly. I think sometimes people feel guilty about honestly saying what they desire because they think other people are going to judge them. And when you look at other people, you got to say, are they living a life that I want to live? If not, why do I care about their judgment?
I know.
Because I want to live a higher quality life. I want to live a life where I wake up and I am excited. I don't want to wake up every single day and I'm dreading it. I want to wake up, I want to feel good in my body. I want to be able to look out the window and see a view. I want to be able to eat a breakfast that makes me feel excited.
Yes.
And you know what they call that is just romanticizing your life. Mm-hmm. How can every single day be a special moment for my life? Oftentimes we wait to have a special moment. I'm going to wait to use my good china, my good dishes, or I'm going to wait to wear this outfit. I want every day to be a special day for me. And I can make every day a special day for me when I put in the work, when I clearly define what does a great day look like for me and what does it cost me, right? Because a beautiful life will cost you. It will cost you money. It will cost you leaving your mediocre thoughts and your mediocre beliefs and your lack beliefs behind. You have to change the person you are, your thoughts, the investments you make, the people that you spend time with. And so I called it Work Hard, Live Soft, because to live soft and live the life you desire, you will have to do hard work to pay the cost.
Yes. Listen, you need to go and check out the podcast. It's like you just get you just want to take some notes. And what I love about, again, just having you here, it's just a reminder of the power of exposure. Because again, I grew up in the inner city here in Kingston, Jamaica. You just know to get a good job, get a good education, and you just live to hopefully retire and maybe live a life then. Mm-hmm. But being able to follow women like you, young women, and doing it, and even though you're like, oh, they're in America, you're like, no, but it's the same God that we serve. So it gives you a permission to want to live different. So when I hire a helper, my mom is like, you live by yourself. You're a daughter, two of us. Why do you need? I'm like, because I don't want to.
Exactly.
I don't want to.
That can just simply be the answer. I don't want to.
Yes. And you have really given permission to do that. So I appreciate that. So we're about to wrap up, but I want to touch a little bit on the money. Mm-hmm. Because we're talking about business and business, money, especially when we see prices in the coaching space, 5,000, 15,000, the average person, many other persons that may be watching like, oh, I will never invest like that. But I've learned the power of investing, again, just power of investing that have changed my life again, because you are paying for the level of exposure that will give you the soft life that you eventually desire. So touch a little bit on the monetizing, and what was your first scary investment and what have you learned, even when person say, but Maya, I'd love to work with you, but I can't afford it, and you're like a Christian, and you're like, oh, should I give them a discount? Like,
Yes.
how do you overcome? And I'm taking my notes right now.
Right, yeah. I mean, there's so much in that. Money can be a scary topic because typically when we're taught about money, we're taught to save it, which is important. But I think we need to discern and differentiate between saving our money and hoarding our money. Because we're not only just meant to save our money, we are meant to confidently release our money knowing that it's going to come back to us in a different way, right? I might make an investment for my hair, right? All of us pay to get our hair done for the most part. I release that money knowing I'm getting something that I desire.
Yes.
The discipline of money still comes back to desire. What is it that I truly want, and what is the cost? What is the investment, right? The cost for my soft life is working hard. The cost for me to have the hair that I want is paying the money. The cost for me to have the health in the body that I want is eating right and going to the gym. It's the same with money. And so I think it's really important for us to develop a healthier relationship with money. All of us receive and release money, every single one of us, but you have to consider, what is the energy that I receive and release money with? Do I release money with fear, and do I receive money with guilt? I see too many believers receiving money with guilt because they're telling themselves, I don't deserve it. And that's why that card that I picked up was really important, of saying, I can do this, right? Declaring things. It is okay for me to have money. It is safe for me to receive money. God, thank you so much for the abundance that I have. One thing that I say to believers is, how can you say that you serve a God of limitless abundance, but you continue to try to limit your abundance? And so you're saying that God can do anything in my life, but when it comes to money, you have so much limits there. What is that about? So it's really important for us to develop a healthier relationship with our money.
And that's it for the show for today. Wow. We are at the end of, I could talk to Maya. That's why I stalk her. That's why she have a podcast. And, you can follow her Instagram page, and of course go and check out Build to Impact. I've been to Impact Weekend, amazing time. Meeting women of all over the world. Just coming together with our gifts, with our passion, with our purpose. We're Jamaican, so we don't twerk, wine, but
okay, we'll bring the wine here.
The Americans and the people are like, oh my God, Christians are not supposed to do that. Okay, but I'm so grateful for you and your obedience. And just thank you. Thank you for your obedience. It has really just given me permission, and I'm sure you get that a lot from many women, that, hey, we can do this. We can build a business, a brand, without compromising our faith, loving God, loving people, but still, living and enjoying life. So thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
So that is it for this week on the show. Listen. No, just get a masterclass right there. I want you to go and share this link with everybody as you watch. We'll be on YouTube. Go and follow us on Instagram, Crystal S. Daye, Daye, and Maya Elious on the Instagram, and go and check out our coaching programs. And again, remember, live your blessed life is coming out this summer, so look out for that. So again, thank you again for watching the DayeLight Show, and I'll see you next week Thursday for another amazing episode. God bless you.